Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. This is your brother Darash Shemad, and I'm back with the next installment of the Ten Commandments. So this time we're picking up at Exodus 20 and verse 8. Then it reads, "Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant or thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is in thy gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Therefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it." Okay, so back up to verse 6. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. Okay, so what does holy mean? To consecrate, sanctify, prepare, dedicate, be hallowed, to be holy, to be sanctified, to be separate. So to be set apart. Kadash, primitive root, to be, causatively make, pronounce, or observe as clean, ceremonially, morally, appoint, bid, consecrate, dedicate, defile, hallow, be, keep, holy, prepare, proclaim, purify, sanctify. Okay, so it's a set apart day, supposed to be sanctified, and that is the Sabbath day. Okay, and so he's identified that this is a holy day, and we got 6 days to work, and then that's when you do all your work. But notice in this society, that's not how things work. Like, you don't necessarily have 6 days where you can do all your work and then you're off, because you can work 7 days a week at some jobs. So, because the laws and things were changed in this society, they don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments that are here. So, all right, and it says, in that, in it thou shalt not do any work, but thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, or thy cattle, or thy stranger that is in thy gates. So we got the 7th day, then nobody is supposed to be working on the 7th day, because it's supposed to be a day of rest. Okay? So, and we see that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai rested on this day. And we can get that precept from Genesis, the 2nd chapter. In verse 2, it says, "And on the 7th day, the powers ended his work, which he had made, and restored on the 7th day from all his, and rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And the powers blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work, which the powers created and made." So the Most High, the powers, they rested. Or the powers rested. Okay? So he wanted us to rest too. Okay? So let's figure out how to identify the Sabbath day. Let's go through the process. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. Let's go down to verse 32. And it says, "It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month at even. From even to even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath." So this particular section is talking about the Day of Atonement. Okay? But I'm using this verse to identify how the day is supposed to start. This is how the Israelites kept the day. The day starts at evening. So evening to the next evening. That is a day. It doesn't start how things start in how we keep time today. Because remember, laws and times and things, they were changed. Okay? So when the sun goes down, that's when the day starts. Okay? So whenever you start your Sabbath, it starts at sundown. And that's Leviticus 23:32. Okay? Now, let's go over to the Apocrypha go to Book of Sirach. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, or the Book of Sirach 43 and verse 6. And it says, he made the moon also to serve in her season, for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. So we use the moon for times, okay? For the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection, okay? The moon is called after her, the month is called after her name, okay? So the month gets the word month comes from moon, basically, okay? Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. The beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, and ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches. So, we know that the moon never goes off. It's always going to stay on track because it obeys the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So it's going to keep time perfectly. So that's how we'll always know when the Sabbath is. Okay, that's how we'll always know the times, the days, because we have the moon to tell us. Okay, now let's go back. Go to the book of Isaiah 66. Let's go to verse 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh. This is talking about in the kingdom. But what this is saying is one new moon to another, from one Sabbath to another. The new moon depicts when the Sabbath starts. The new moon depicts when a month starts, because moon means month. That's where it comes from. Month comes from moon, like we talked about, okay? So let's look at it. New moon. For one new moon. The new moon, monthly. The first day of the month. So the new moon is the first day of the month. So whenever the new moon comes in, that's when the month starts in biblical terms. Okay? Not this Gregorian nonsense that we do now. Okay? Okay? And so, whenever that new moon comes in, that new moon identifies the Sabbath. That new moon is the first Sabbath of the month. Okay? And then 7 days from then, there's another Sabbath. 7 days from then, there's another Sabbath. So it's like the same day every week. Okay? Now, let's get another precept. This is 2 Kings 4:23. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. He said, it shall be well. Okay. He said it's neither new moon nor Sabbath. So what is he trying to say? So, yes, the new moon will be the first Sabbath of the month, but not every Sabbath is going to have a new moon on it, because the next Sabbath would be what? The quarter moon Sabbath. Okay? Eventually you'll get to what? Half moon or full moon Sabbath. But the Sabbath, the first day of the month is the Sabbath, because that's the new moon. Okay? And it's every 7 days of the Sabbath until the next new moon comes. All right? Now, let's go to the book of Psalms 81. Verse 3, it says, blow the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Because the moon is used to identify feast days too. That's how you know when it's the Day of Atonement. That's how you know when it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread or Passover or the Feast of Weeks or it's Hanukkah. Because you're tracking the moon cycles. Okay? All right. Now, it doesn't mean that every feast falls on the new moon. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you use the moon itself to tell you in the feast are. Okay? But that's a lot deeper. Now, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 20 and verse 24. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat. Okay, so this was a Sabbath day. All right? And it says, and it came to pass on the morrow. So talking about the next day, which is the second day of the month. So it's telling you that the day after the new moon is the second day of the month. That David's place was empty. And Saul said unto Jonathan his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to eat, neither yesterday nor today? Because yesterday was what? The Sabbath. And then today is the second day of the month. Because yesterday was the new moon Sabbath, so that meant it was the first day of the month. Okay? And the Israelites, their calendar, they didn't use this like Roman nonsense with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday stuff named after their pagan gods. No, they used it. They used like numerical values. They said it's the first day, second day, third day, fourth day. That's how they counted the days. Okay? Now, let's go back to Exodus chapter 20 and refresh. So, it says 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is in thy gates. So we're not supposed to work on the Sabbath day. It's a rest day, okay? So remember, you count 7 days from the new moon, which is the first Sabbath. And, Slakia. The first Sabbath is the new moon. Then 7 days from the new moon is the second Sabbath. And 7 days from that is the next Sabbath. And the 7 days from that is the next Sabbath. And you keep doing that until there's another new moon. And that restarts the cycle. Okay? Now, how do you keep these Sabbaths? So we know we're not supposed to do no work. But what other scriptures do we have that can tell us about things that we're not supposed to do on the Sabbath? So let's go check out Nehemiah, chapter 10. Let's go verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we would leave the seventh year the exaction of every debt. Yep. So, you're not supposed to buy and sell on the Sabbath day. Okay? That's clear. All right? So that's things what the heathens do. We live among the heathens right now, so it's normal for us to go out and do that, especially if you don't have this understanding. But once you get it, now you know. So, we should not buy and sell on the Sabbath day. It's a holy day. It's a day of rest. Yes, we are in the land of our captivities, and we are subject to payments. So yes, we have to go to work, and sometimes you have to buy things and whatnot. And that's understandable. We're under grace, okay? That's why we're under grace, because we can't keep it perfectly. We don't have our own law, statutes, and commandments set up as the law of the land here in the society. But we should do our best to keep them when we can. Okay? We rehearse the righteous acts. That's Judges, 5 and 11. Okay? Now, what else shouldn't we be doing on the Sabbath day? Isaiah 58. Let's go down to verse 13. Keeping the Sabbath. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yahweh honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor find thy own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. for the mouth of Yahweh had spoken it. So we're not supposed to just do what we want on the Sabbath day, okay? That's what he's saying. We're not supposed to do our pleasures. Things like intercourse with your wife. You're not supposed to be doing that like on the Sabbath day, okay? The Sabbath day is supposed to be like a day of rest, okay? So the pleasures of your heart, all right? So some people might like to just play a bunch of video games and things like that. That's like the pleasure of your heart. Okay, you should use the Sabbath day to rest, to read scripture, to learn scripture, to spread the gospel. Those are things that you should do like on the Sabbath day. All right. And verse 14 is interesting. He says, "Then thou shalt delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it." So the heritage of Jacob, what is the heritage of Jacob? So the heritage of Jacob is the heritage that we lost. That's Jeremiah 17:4. So we were cut off. So these scriptures are part of our heritage. So let's get Jeremiah 17:4. So, "And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever." Okay, so this law, statutes, and commandments, this was part of our heritage. Okay, Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. So this law was part of our inheritance. Also, that land over there that the Amalekites are massacring the Ishmaelites in, that's part of our inheritance. So I know only the elect is going to turn back to these law, statutes, and commandments, but they come with promises. You just read it right there in Isaiah 58. Like he's going to give us our inheritance. We just have to obey his law, statutes, and commandments and get back on board. It's all right there in the book. This is the instructions of how we get the kingdom. All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 16. Let's go down to verse 22. It's the Sabbath observed. "And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses." So wait, why are they gathering twice as much on the 6th day? They're gathering twice as much on the 6th day so that they don't have to do it on the 7th day, because the 7th day is the Sabbath. So with that in mind, when the Sabbath is approaching, we should prepare food before the Sabbath so we don't have to prepare it on the Sabbath. Okay? "And he said unto them, That is that which Yahweh has said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yahweh. Bake that which ye will bake today, and see that ye will see it. And that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until morning. And they laid it up till the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein." So remember, the Israelites were eating manna, and they were only supposed to keep the manna for one day, because the next morning it would basically go bad. But because of the Sabbath day, Yahweh flexed his power and made the manna stay good for 2 days for the Israelites. Okay? So, he's just showing his power. Verse 24. "And they laid it up till morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto Yahweh. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none." Okay. Now, we got to read on, because we know the Israelites are a stiff-necked people. But the gist of that was, prepare your food before the Sabbath day so that you don't go without on the Sabbath day or have to prepare on the Sabbath day. "And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none." Stiff-necked people. Moses literally told them what to do, told them it wasn't going to be there, and they still went looking for it. Like, they're literally seeing the miracles of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua happen in front of their face, and they still can't receive it. So I know it's hard for the 2/3 to receive it on this side just because of that. Verse 28, and Yahweh said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? So the same conversation that they was having back then, while the laws, statutes, and commandments would be given to them, we still having the same conversation with Israel today. And they're still like, oh no, we don't have to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments because the church told me this. The church ain't your friend. That's your enemy teaching you. The Christian church, that is. Verse 29. See, for that Yahweh had given you the Sabbath. Therefore, he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. Stiff-necked people, I tell you. Now, let's move forward to Exodus 35. Let's go down to verse 3. Could I read? We can read from verse 1. Talking about the Sabbath again. And Moses gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together and said unto them, these are the words which Yahweh hath commanded, that ye should do them. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be to you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to Yahweh. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Oh, wait, there's a penalty for not keeping the Sabbath. Yes, we're under grace right now. But back then, when the law, statutes, and commandments ran supreme amongst Israel, they caught you lacking on the Sabbath day, you was out of there. Verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath. So we're not supposed to light fires. We use fires to cook and stay warm and stuff. But we're not supposed to have fires on the Sabbath day. Okay? So, because that's working. Because imagine, I don't even know how they started fires back then. They probably was rubbing sticks together or something. But however they did it, I'm sure it took work to make the fires. Okay? Now, let's go see an example of a hard-headed person, which is most of Israel. This is Numbers chapter 15. Go down to verse 32. Sabbath breaking punished. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron and unto all the congregation. And they put him in ward, which is prison basically, a jail. Because it was not declared what should be done to him. And Yahweh said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died. And as Yahweh commanded Moses. As Yahweh commanded Moses. Okay? So, let's go to Exodus again. Exodus 31. Let's go to 15. We can do verse 12. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. Who is the me and you? Yahweh and the Israelites. That's it. Throughout your generations. So throughout your generations. What is that talking about? Is that talking about, just right now, the people that's alive? No. Generations. Let's look at the word generations. Period, generation, habitation, dwelling. Period, age, generation, period of time, generation, those living. Generation characterized by quality, dwelling place, habitation, and age or generation, also a dwelling. A revolution of time, never prosperity. All right. Days, generation is the period and circuit of the years of life. Time, the word signifying. Okay. Let's see where it comes from. Generation, door, heap, pile. All right. So anyway, it says throughout your generations. Okay. So that means it's going to keep going because the Israelites continued to have children, so they had more generations. So it says throughout your generations. So they're still Israelites today. So this still stands because it says throughout your generations. Okay, that ye may know that I am Yahweh that do sanctify you. Verse 14: Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but on the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy unto Yahweh. Whosoever doeth any work on the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. So we already looked up generations. Now let's look up perpetual. Long duration, antiquity, fatuity, forever, everlasting, perpetual, old, ancient. Properly concealed, the vanishing point, generally time, out of mind. Okay, continuance. So basically, this is an everlasting covenant, like I said earlier, throughout their generations. So as long as there's Israelites, the keeping of the Sabbath is required. Verse 17, it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. Now he says it again and makes it even more clear for the stiff-necked, rockhead people out there. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of power. Okay? Now, let's just get a little bit more backup on that, in case you think Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai changes. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Do you get that? He doesn't change. That's the only reason Israel is still allowed to make it. Because he doesn't change. He made promises to our forefathers. He gave us law, statutes, and commandments. And those are his words. So once he says something, it's bound to come to pass. So that's why we get to make it. That's why Jacob gets the blessings. Because he said it. And he is not going to go back on what he said. We done went off, done all kind of ignorance. But he still got us. Okay? So, let's go to the book, to the New Testament. Let's go to Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. He says, beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of this world, and not after Hamashiach. So wait, well, what man has spoiled you, Israel? Okay? What man has spoiled you through philosophy and vain deceit? Esau, Edom, the adversary, the devil, Satan incarnated. That's who spoiled you. They told you don't have to keep these law, statutes, and commandments. Not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is how you got in this predicament. That's why you're the lowest of the low. That's why you're the bottom. You won't be on the top until you keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And like I said, I know all of you can't get it. I'm just fishing for that 1/3 that elect. That's it. The rest of y'all doomed. Is written. So, don't be spoiled. Don't listen to these vain philosophies, these false doctrines. I'm talking about the alphabet soup people, the feminist stuff, the whole gender equality, all of these things. The Most High loves everybody nonsense. Anything that's not backed up by this scripture is off. Don't be fooled by it. Okay? After the traditions of men. What are these traditions of men? These freaking holidays that they make up and people just go along with it. Like we just got done with one holiday coming from what they call it Christmas. It came from like Saturnalia and a bunch of other pagan traditions that people picked up over the years, dating all the way back to the time of Nimrod. Like, come on. Let go of that. After the rudiments of this world and not after Hamashiach. Like, the things that Hamashiach and Hawashai wants us to do are written in these scriptures. Outside of that, you're going off. It's plain and simple. Okay? And so, let's get back on this man that has spoiled you, Esau Edom. He changed things. Okay? So, let's go back to the Old Testament. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 23. He says, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth. That's the current kingdom that's ruling right now, because that's the last beast. Remember, he only put up 4 kingdoms. Okay? That last kingdom, that Roman Empire, is still going. It's the revived Roman Empire. Look on the back of your dollar. You go see Latin written on it. The $1 bill. Okay? And it says, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it to pieces. And that's what it did. Hold up. I think I lost my place. Hold on. Let me see. Change the laws. Nope. It was 25, so I hadn't gotten there yet. Okay, so we started at 23. And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise. And it's talking about what? The EU. And another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings. Okay, so who is that? Who rose up after them? That's talking about America, the United States. That's that one horn. And he subdued 3 kings. Well, what 3 kings did he subdue? Well, we have to look at history. So if we go back in history, who came over here and tried to mess with America? Didn't he subdue the French? Didn't he subdue England? The British? Didn't he subdue Spain? Didn't we have wars with them? Yeah, he did. Okay. He subdued them. That's what that's talking about. Verse 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. What great words are he speaking against the Most High? Blasphemy. That's what he's speaking. Exalting himself as the Most High, telling people that he's not real, doing all of these blasphemous things, taking his laws, statutes, and commandments into his mouth, and then not executing them. Shall wear out the saints of the Most High. How is he wearing out the saints of the Most High? Because he got y'all going off on all these doctrines. He's put y'all through slavery. He's done all kind of things with the Native Americans. It's atrocious. Okay? And think to change times and laws. So I just showed you how biblical time works. Does our time work the same way? No, it doesn't. So who changed that? Esau Edom. Are our laws the same laws that are in the Bible? the laws approved by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? No, they're not. Who changed that? Esau, Edom changed it. The abominable snowman, the cream-colored bandit, he changed it. And they shall be given into his hand a time and times and the dividing of times. We were giving into Esau, Edom's hands, right? Didn't our period of slavery last for what? 350 years? Didn't it? And we're still in our land of captivity. Things are lightening upon us. The curses are starting to jump upon him. But we're still here. We're still not free. All right. Now, let's go to Baruch, the 3rd chapter. And it says, Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers which departed from Yahweh our power. Okay, so we're subject to payments. We're in the land of our captivity. Why are we here? Because we broke his law, statutes, and commandments. The iniquities of our fathers, which are actually us, we've just been reincarnated. So, okay, so we can't keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly here, but we can curse the righteous acts. And that's Judges 5 and 11. Nope, that's Exodus. Judges. And it says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water. So what is the noise of the archers? Noise of the archers, that's talking about the ICBM missiles that will come with the destruction of this place. Okay, it identifies this place, the places of drawing water. What are they talking about drawing water? That's going into servitude. This is the place where we served our captivity. Okay, so if you read back in the scriptures, whenever Israel took over people, they made them draw water for them. So you got to understand the symbolism that's in the Bible. It's a big parable. Okay, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh. So here is where we rehearse the righteous acts for the real McCoy, the kingdom that's going to come. So this is the time. Okay, even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of the villages in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates. He's going to come get us. And then we go get the kingdom. But only Israel is going into those gates. Because those gates have the name of the 12 tribes of Israel. Not everybody else. There ain't no unity doctrine with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. He separated us from them. All right. So that's it for this installment of the 10 Commandments. I want to say Shalom and all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rekakadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone.